So yesterday, in clips 1 and 2, I mentioned the building on the other side, the Department of Agriculture building on the other side of Independence Street, and that there was another building there, another large building of agriculture. Where here it is, I'm on this side now, because yesterday I ran out of space in my phone and or battery power. So instead of coming back the same day to finish up, I decided I'd come back the next day. And so here I am, it's me. Hey guys. It's me, Devon White. I am elated to bring you this video. Finishing up showing you some major points about agriculture, and one of the things I mentioned yesterday, we were talking about compost, but there's another great point that I wasn't able to point out that's in the reading there that we're going to cover today. So that's this building, and that's the National Mall over there. We've been to that museum on the same channel. I believe that's the National Museum of either Natural History. I believe that is the Natural History Museum. I was going to say it's the Gallery of Art. That's the Natural History Museum, and you can see the top of the Smithsonian Castle there as well on the National Mall. This is the Department of Agriculture. Here, this is the building, and as you can see the Washington Monument there. We're at the end of the National Mall. But as you can see right here, there are these two arches that connect the two buildings. So this is the Knapp Memorial Arch, and then there's another memorial arch on that side that connects this Department of Agricultural building. And remember, I told you there's over 100,000 employees of this department and over 4,500 buildings in the United States and around the world for the Department of Agriculture. And I explained what they do in video 1 or 2 or 2. So I'm glad that that happened though, because today I was gonna forego showing you this particular branch of it. This is the South Building, but because of that small breach yesterday, here I am, and I'm showing you this building. This is the Department of Agriculture, the other building. While we're over here and while I'm doing that, there's the Freer Gallery of the other side of the Freer Gallery of Asian Art here in DC. Down there, you can actually, down on the next street, you can get the not the revenue building, the engraving and printing building, Mandarin Oriental Hotel, and over here the Spy Museum, as well as NASA and other great facilities, the Urban FHFA, the Federal Housing Finance Administration, as well as the across the street, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Since I'm over here, okay, here it is again. So this is the other Department of Agricultural building. This is the side of it. Goes all the way down there to the end of the street. So if you can see where those bikes are, where the bus is heading now, that's where that light is down there. Those cars that stopped, that's the end of the building. So this is the other agricultural building. That's the side of it. And right here, since we're over here, I mentioned a few of the other, I guess I can show you these museums even though I didn't take you inside of them. They're on the other side of the Smithsonian Castle. You have the Museum of the African Art Gallery, and there's the Smithsonian Freer Gallery of Asian Art, which we did visit. We just made the entrance from the other side. But here is our Department of Energy. And on the first floor, while I believe you do necessarily have to have clearance to make it past security and the guard gates and the metal detectors and all of that, there is a section on the first floor. There's a museum there with a lot of some great exhibits and a lot of excellent information. I remember one talking about that displays a canister for plutonium, and just a lot of good information there. So I mentioned this building is on, I didn't want to say stilts, but let the term come back to my head. Okay, the beach houses are built on what? Well, we'll just call them posts for now. We won't call them columns. There's the Arthur M. Sackler Gallery. Again, there's the castle, the Smithsonian Castle. Go in there and learn about the Smithsonian, James Smithson, and the founder of the Smithsonian Institute and such. It never was an actual castle, it was always an institution. But here's the Department of Energy. I did visit here. I mentioned you can go in this little section right here. They do have some exhibits and some information there for you to experience some stuff on the Department of Energy. But yep, this is the Department of Energy. The United States Department of Energy is one of its buildings. I did ask security. She acted like apparently she hasn't studied architecture like I have, but or the police officer that was working there, and he's acted confused about my question. I'm like, well, sometimes you go in there, you go into buildings and they have a plaque on the corner of the wall that says architect is such and such, and it was built in this date. And I was just wondering about the designer who designed this particular building. And anyways, here it is. This is the Department of Energy. This other building that's on the National Mall and has some interesting architectural elements. If you look at the different brick, if you ever get to walk over there, why don't we just do it now? If you ever get to walk over there, you'll see the different brick patterns. And yep, that's the other entrance to the Smithsonian Castle. It has a nice yard on it. The Spy Museum is down here, is L'Enfant and such. So this is the James Forestral Building. Again, here you can, and good morning. Here you can get, we're on Independence Avenue in Washington, D.C. And there's another great exhibit about, there's a device there that is used to cut really hard, like a diamond cutter. We used to cut really hard materials, but it's very organic. It's not like electronic or anything. It's raw materials, and I thought it's interesting. It's not the most pleasing looking thing to look at, or the most aesthetically pleasing as far as shapes or evenness in shapes or anything like that. But that was an interesting exhibit other than that container and then all the readings and seeing like the commissioners and stuff. But here's the Smithsonian National Museum Institute. I just want to show you this garden. It's interesting. Yeah. Right. Here you go. This is the garden. This is for the Smithsonian Castle. This was our first visit on this particular YouTube channel. For remember, this YouTube channel started in Durham, North Carolina, Durham County, North Carolina, city of Durham, and then we moved here to DC. And the first museums exhibit, as we did cover 11 museums on this channel, was this one, the Smithsonian Castle. And while this wasn't always the landscape, it is now, and it's a very interesting landscape. This is one we did not cover, the National Museum of African Art. You can't actually see it from the National Mall. You see the castle, but on this side, on Independence Avenue, it's here, as well as the Arthur M. Sackler Gallery is here too, or the National Museum of Asian Art. We did go there. but this is a different. No, we went to the National Museum of Asian Art, but we didn't go to this particular. I guess this is a separate building for it. I also didn't show you the sculpture garden for the Hirshhorn Museum of Modern Art, or the sculpture garden for the National Museum. But they are there on the National Mall as well. So this is here. Okay, we have to get back to the agricultural department. And remember this video. This is we're veering off. We're starting off veered from our mission, which is to see the Department of Agriculture and learn about what the things that they do with the crops and the things that the Department of Agriculture does. So yeah. Okay, so this building next door, since I study architecture, I'm able to distinguish some of the patterns, even though their names. I don't know if it's the garden bond or there's several different names of bricking patterns, but I do recognize the pattern. And so let's point out some of the bricking patterns on this building next door, which you can see on the National Mall, but it's closed until 2022, if I'm correct. But I think it's interesting. I wouldn't have designed it this way. I think it's a little bit ugly. Shout out to, I don't know if it's pronounced Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. I think it's spelled Galludet space University. Gallaudet University. But this is the ugliest, well, I'm not going to say it's the ugliest. Oh yeah, this is the National Museum of African Art. Guy that was cutting the grass handed me a $5 the other day. I was like, appreciate that, brother. I was able to find my sign with my name on it. And look, Google me, see, check my business, my company out. And no, that's not what I was here for. I've been homeless in DC to see the city. I've been homeless, sleeping out. Thank God, in the freezing temperatures, I have 2 huge comforters that keep me really warm. Okay, so yeah, people might say I wouldn't have been able to make it in this mission is to see DC, spend a month in DC, out in the cold with no place to go. But I have to tell you, I'm winning. Anyways, so look at this arch, these arches on these windows. Also, somebody remind me, let's look back at my window installation, commercial window installation video at the Origin Hotel before it was completed in Raleigh, and we can know that pattern, that kind of descending pattern, the brick step off, the opposite step off effect. So we have these black bricks. It's a double black rows to this one, and then the regular bricking. Then there's another black row, 2 rows, and then black, and then continues there. That's one pattern, but that's not the pattern I'm talking about particularly. It's these other colors. So that's what I'm gonna point out. And then we're gonna have to, we really have to, there's another federal building. Again, that one kind of has this post pattern, built on posts. Okay, so it's a blue one in the middle, then there's, so each row is off a little by half, right? So it starts with these like oranges cream color, if I may, or like these tan, this pale tan or matte tan tone, before returning, allowing some reds in the second. But notice that each is off by like half, so it's like brick, 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 and then the second one starts in the middle, and then it starts in the middle of each layer, such as, so it's here, this one, and then this one, and then this one. So this one, this starts at half, but so you have the cream ones, and then you have the reds. The 2 reds is 1, 2. Then you have a cream, and then you have the red. Then you have the cream, and then you have the 2 reds. Versus it's opposite here. You have 1. Then you have the cream. Then you have the 2 reds. Oh, we're looking at the middle pattern first. Okay. So it's the 1, then there's two reds, and then there's a red, and then the blue, and then the red, and then it returns to the two reds, and then there's one at the bottom. Versus here, you can see where it's off by that middle pattern. It starts at the half point here, so it's off by that one brick pattern, and then obviously the ones here are cut halfway. The ones that are half cuts, and then there's the fourth cut one there, and then so that's that. But also there's this one up here, so it's the cream to the blue one, and then there's the cream between each one. And then this pattern here, the middle one, it continues, it's done twice here, up here. And then with the arches, they used the longer bricks. I was about to say I'm not finished yet because there's another one. And there it is, I just saw it. But yeah, here's the blue, they do the blue bricks here for a level one, and then they do the soldier bricking, which is the horizontal brick. This is soldier bricking, even though this is in the arch, where the brick is straight up versus going horizontal, and particularly straight up in this direction versus flipped that way. That has a different technical name for the bricking pattern of the agencies. So yeah, so the middle part right here, that's soldier bricking. And yeah, it's standing up like those, but each one is standing up. The cream one is standing up between the blue one that's standing up, but then it's back to horizontal. Blue ones are border it above and beneath. Okay, so this is the other pattern. I don't like it, but I do like it for the architectural analysis. I like the ornaments here. I don't like the color pattern because it looks like a clown building, but I do like it for a person that's studying architecture, and I'm not the only one. There's plenty architectural students at whatever university, so this will make sense to them too. But it's a good building to practice on, to notice. Like, I don't know if this is called the garden bond. I'll have to pull out my dictionary of architecture again that I kind of read to people on the internet. I lost my company's Facebook page, the Devon Chadwick White Incorporated Facebook page. You can still check me out at www.dcwdcw.com. That's my initials twice. Devon Chadwick White is my initials, making my initials DCW. My initials twice.com gives you dcwdcw.com. And so with that, you can still see some of the stuff. I didn't teach as much on my website, again, because it's easy to get in there and teach and share stuff as it was for my company's Facebook page. So when Facebook snatched it, they snatched so much information I had shared with at least my 800 likers, the people who had subscribed to my page. And to myself, I was going to use it as a review. But one of the things that I'm pretty sure that I shared there was the different bricking patterns, as well as the brick lays. And so I don't remember if this is, there's the garden bond, and then what's another one? The English bond. There's like 6 or 7 or 8, or probably more than that. So then you have the doubles here again, and then again you have the cream, this pattern where there's 2, and then it's off by 1 at that half point, and then there's the 2 creams again, and then it's outlined there's this upper border and the lower border of 4 bricks, and in the middle section is outlined by a brick each, which is offset 1 by 1. I think that's kind of ugly, but then it's just the way they did it. Had it been done in all red or like in a white or something, and had they continued this black thing, right, like one more, continued that, this one more, even though these are half bricks, so that's off by that. But it's cool, whatever. They've completed their project, and it looks, I'd have to give it at least a B, like an 80, between 80 and 100. I have to give it at least like an 80. I was gonna say 98, but I don't know why. It was done on that side too. So this is a different brick lay as well. So this is one lay. Then I mentioned the other way is one lay, and then facing this other way, standing up, is another lay. Then this is another brick lay, and then turned that way would be another brick lay, and then like that. So you have this right here. So it's these 1, 2. That's another brick lay. So maybe that's no. This is part of the design. So they decided to do that there because there's 3, even though it's only on that one spot. Not necessarily. You see, there's here it's turned there as well. So, and then so that's done on this building throughout here. I don't have to explain the one with the blue in the middle because I already explained that one on the side when I explained this pattern over here. But then I like the ornaments. Then I can't remember I explained this because they did it on the Origin Hotel in the black brick. I did the pre-video, then I actually checked into the hotel to show the completed work or a small portion of it later after it was completed. But they did it in black brick. I like the black brick they did it in there, but I like that effect. I like the ornaments, I just don't like the colors they outlined it. And I would have done it like the Devon Chadwick white incorporated spin on it would have been like, you know, the tans. It would have been just 2 colors. It's like the, you know, the number of the area code of DC 202. It would have just been 2 colors. Even if you did the red and this sand or this, I don't know what color it will be on the color wheel. I'll have to again pull up my book again, but it's like this tannish, brownish, like sandy orangish color. I would have done that. That's the most of the building, like is done in all red, and then for where the black ones are, I would have did that in like the red color, and all like the black, I would have done the red bricks there. And then even for this, I would have just kept it 2 tones and did it in the red. Yeah, just red. I wouldn't have done like 4. What they do? 1, 2, 3, 4 colors. The cream, the black, the blue, and the red. I feel like I'm missing one. Yeah, that's 4 colors. Yeah, I wouldn't have done it like that. I don't think. I would have, especially on this part, I would have used just the 2 colors. Now, I don't have a problem with the number 4 at all. I just wouldn't have used it that way. Since I was born in '84, agencies. So, let's add another color. Make it 5, and then this 6 color because the brick, so the black. I don't know if that's slate, but that's brick. Like they trying to make that look like a roof. So it's actually brick though, but it's black up there, and this is like green tone. And then there's this blue color, this other blue that's slightly different than this blue that's here. So that's like 6 colors. And then you mix this one, the 7th one. You know, I don't, particularly, I think it's ugly. But let me tell you something. There's money in ugly, okay? There's money in ugly. So you have to, when you notice it, when you notice ugly one place, you notice ugly in a lot of places. You say, oh, there's ugly. Oh, there's a lot of uglies. And then you're like, oh, Uglies is like a company and it's worth a lot of money. I like the Uglies. Yes! The Department of Energy. So I did go in there yesterday. So yeah, here we go. And then we've been there to the Hirshhorn Museum right there. The Museum of Modern Art, we've already been there. Agencies. These are the agencies of Washington, D.C. Just one office of them. Okay, so the Hirshhorn Museum is right there. And it has the sculpture garden is right outside of it. This is the Department of Energy. Okay, let's speed up for a second because obviously I can't show you all of this wonderful city, but I'll show you a few things. I will show you a few things. And remember, this is a Department of Agriculture video. We just kind of got veered off of task. And while you're watching clip 1 and clip 2, which I think will be at least educational for you, You'll notice why we did this, because I mentioned these buildings in that video. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover them here. Here's the Department of Energy. Also, there's a guard booth, and this is the other section. But unless I mentioned how it was on stilts, here's this section that's the museum on the first floor. It's got information here. Agencies. So here it is, the Department of Energy. Visitors entrance. I don't want anything, I'm just here to look at a few exhibits. I don't want anything, I'm just here to look at a few exhibits. Thank you. So this is the polycrystalline diamond compact. It's the one I said didn't have the cutest shape, but it cuts really hard materials. There's a lot of interesting information here. This holds plutonium, stainless steel, shielding from radiation emitted by nuclear materials. Container is used for the storage of plutonium. Here's the secretaries, Department of Energy. Are you recording or you just taking pictures? Taking pictures. Okay. Why? Is there like a policy against it? Yeah, no recording. Okay, well, I'm getting out of here. Thanks. That's ugly. Anyways, she said no recording, but I've recorded it anyway. I've taken the footage. That's the reason why they say, this is take 1, this is take 2, this is take 3. But I've just taken that footage, okay? My religious right. I have a religious right to be the only American because I prayed and asked God for that religious right to make me the greatest and the one person that is allowed to do whatever I want on this planet. And so that's me. And it was my religious right to take that video footage. A little white lie has never hurt anyone, considering all the good that I do for people. She's just I'm not gonna say a B-I-C-C-H, but something to that. She kind of had that attitude the last time I was in there. Her and the Dominican cop that was there. He was real. His energy was real, you know, almost unhealthy. No, I'm only joking. I had a Dominican friend in New York City. We were friends, but we kind of split ways. I was on this business tip while he was on some other stuff. I mean, well, not other stuff, but I don't know what he was doing. But I know I was running my business as I have consistently been doing since, and I am doing now, and will be doing for the next 20 minutes at least, if not for the next 20 centuries, the next 20 millennium, legendarily. Okay, so this is the Department of Energy, and here are DC kids, and you don't think that's why the Muslims got an attitude with people in New York and in DC and flew planes because of people with nasty attitudes like that, do you? Probably not. I don't think that's it. I don't think that's the answer. I honestly think it was something else. It was a religious war. It was about Muslims and Muslim warfare and stuff like that. Agencies. or it could have been that they hijacked the planes. They were just going to take it for a run across the country, around the world, and they just happened to, you know, run out of gas or whatever in a certain spot. Kind of went sour. It was like a something that went sour. Even though they could have written the suicide notes, but they literally didn't intend for that to actually happen. Agencies. His braids are ugly. That sounds like ugly is more of an energy that can, excuse me. Yeah, I meant to say that, excuse me. That can be spread. Okay, so we're back to the Department of Energy. This is where we're going. And it's about food and food production. Ew, is that a rat that just ran across my feet? Okay, so, oh yeah, about the squirrel. I was mentioning, you'll see in clip 2, I mentioned how the squirrels here will run up to you and they will actually, like, in North Carolina, they won't actually say anything to you. Versus, I mean, they won't like run up to you, they'll kind of stay off. But here they'll come up to you, and the birds and stuff. And so the squirrels here also, they're a little bit fatter and a little bit healthier looking, and the ones in North Carolina are a little bit skinnier. And so you'll see that squirrel that ran up to me. You'll see the little mice that were in the garden there as well, running around. In that other video, agency. This is the agency of the Department of Agriculture. That memorial arch in recognition of the public service of Seaman A. Knapp, an extension work for the Department of Agriculture, Rome, 1819 to 1911. So here's the rest of the Department. Agriculture extends like way down, way down. And then this is the other side of it here. So, okay, let's finish this video. Also, next on the list is the FBI building, the J. Edgar Hoover HBI building. And, you know, there was this issue that they say he wouldn't support the Civil War troops and the supporters of the Civil War officers. But it is what it is. That's the J. Edgar Hoover, the John Edgar Hoover FBI building. There is the next video on this channel. It's a very long building. See, it's all the way down there to that end. That's the second arch that moves over to that side, and this is the arch that cuts over to this side. It's actually a little bit longer on this side is a little bit longer. Agencies. I believe this is what's the name of that building? It's the James L. Whitten Federal Building. United States Department of Agriculture, James L. Whitten Building. Okay, let's go. So anyways, I was able to show you that some of this stuff here and in DC. And so this is the Department of Agriculture's Jamie L. Whitten Federal Building, United States. And so this is where we were at yesterday. Let's finish up where we pulled off yesterday. So that's where I showed you Department of Energy in the building. In the yesterday's video, I just showed you this corner of it and that corner of it. So they actually took you inside of the Department of Energy. See the risk I take? Somebody please try to look up high risk investments and figure out what it means and get back to me and tell me if I took a high risk investment in my company and if that's the reason why I'm asking for millions and billions in the sense of me asking for millions and billions, and or let's take it higher, trillions, it has something to do with me having to have taken a high-risk investment, if you can define it. Okay, so this is where we left off yesterday. I said, you know, if somebody could get me $300 million, I wouldn't mind. I think you would pay 6% in taxes. I wouldn't mind giving away what's 6, 12, 36 million or more than that in taxes. I might even pay some extra in taxes. You know why? Because I can still live comfortably off that $200 million. I can buy the biggest house in town for $50 million, put another $20 million in a CD account or CD accounts, banks around the country, and that way the money will only unlock once a year. That one time of year that I have to pay my property taxes, because even if I paid for the house in cash, I still have to pay property taxes on it every year. I cannot pay that in advance because that rate may change by a little bit every year. So you have to pay that once a year. That could be on a large property. On a smaller property, it could be a couple $100s, I guess, or $1,000. On a large property, the biggest house in town, it could be $30,000 a year. Somebody's salary, $30,000 to $50,000 every year for the next 40 years. You bought the biggest house in town. You paid $10 or $15 million for it, but your property taxes every year is $50,000. So then you set that money away for that. You set money away for your gardener, your landscaper, for your Rolls Royce, my Range Rover, my Bentley, you know, my Maybach, my S600, all fully loaded cars, brand new off the lot, with warranties that I can replace them if anything ever goes wrong, at the slightest scratch, at the smallest imperfection. One of these days, this is going to clear up. I'm not going to be homeless anymore, and everything's going to be better. Please, somebody help me. Okay, so I think we left off here yesterday, and this is an interesting read. We were talking about the Virginia peanuts, and I remember, there's the squirrel, that's not the same one. But in the end of the video, the squirrel ran up to me right here, and it had food on its mouth because it was digging dirt out of the soil it was eating. I guess the rat food, because there are rat holes in here. There's one right there, and the rats were running. They're not rats. There were 2 baby mice, and they were running around here yesterday before I turned on the camera. And when I turned on the camera, they did it again. Anyways, so, oh wow, maybe, yeah, but you'll see that clip too. It's interesting. You see some great information. Check out clip 1 and 2 on the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Safe, affordable food. We'll start where we left off. This diagram below represents the journey our food takes from the farm to our tables. Many people with many different types of jobs, skills, and knowledge contribute to the system that ensure the citizens of the United States have ongoing access to safe, affordable food. U.S. farm economy. 1 in every 10 jobs in the United States is held by someone helping to create healthy, affordable food. Okay. Food value chain. The food supply chain includes every step in the journey that food takes from the farmer to your table. Input companies. Okay, so yeah, I do understand the federal government has to have this protection and stuff like that, and you know, for its protective purposes. But since Heaven, that's me. My name is Heaven. That's my alias. Since I'm doing it, everything's okay. Since DC is doing it, the owner of this company is doing it, it's okay. Because if the boss says it's okay, he's the one guy that can write off clearances. The president is the one guy that can give pardons and get guys out of prison. He's the one guy that can give pardons, presidential pardons. So I think it's okay. You feel like it's okay? I hope it's okay. Anyways, most of the times I haven't had that statement made, but there it is. Okay, so the food value chain is U.S. farm economy. 1 in every 10 jobs in the United States. We mentioned that. We mentioned the food value chain. Okay, input companies provide seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, and animal health solutions to our nation's farmers and ranchers. The input companies. Then the farmers and ranchers, 3.4 million farmers, ranchers, and growers across the United States, providing the building blocks for food for our country and world. 3.4 million. They said that's less than 2% since there's there's supposed to be like 370,000 or something people in America, or 300, or at least 300 million. Food companies use the products from farms to create the value-added food products that we have to come to expect on our tables. traders and brokers prior to that, help farmers and ranchers find markets for their products. And again, I mentioned in clip 2, I'm not going to repeat everything, but I mentioned in clip 2, I showed some of those forums in my travels across the United States and on my tour videos I mentioned that. See clip 1 or 2. Traders and brokers help farmers and ranchers farm markets for their products and help connect them to food company partners. Look, if there's a problem with it, look, if you have to bring the case to court, make sure you have to go through all 1,900, right now it's probably 1,934 clips on YouTube, as well as every inch on my company's website, every evidence to understand my case and what is pertinent, and every ounce of evidence, as well as you got to get through the Facebook CEOs, bring all of them guys up and get my company, my Facebook page back, and everything that I lost, and bring that up so we can get the winner to say, I won. It belongs to me. It's my victory. I'm the winner. You understand that? No, I'm just joking. But Farm Journal, we already covered that. But this covers the consumers. All Americans are consumers of the food delivered through the value chain. We talked about the food retailers provide the stores, outlets, and online services for consumers to purchase food products. Okay, so healthy soils. This was an excellent read. And my ex, before he passed, he was a big on soils, and I used to hate it because even when we had the trailer in South Carolina, and some of the little homeless rooms we had in New York City that we shared together because we were married, he would bring in dirt from outside, and it's like, and I remember one time we separated and got back together so many times. I remember I went to visit him at his room. He was in Manhattan somewhere. And I was like ill disgusted because it was like brown, like dirt smudges on his tables and on the floor and on his bed and stuff like that. It was because he had brought dirt in. But he he was starting his own religion, and part of it was worship of soil and stuff like that. I don't necessarily get it, but I do have it if you want to check it out. I'm definitely, in his corner in support of what he was doing there. I'm just the side man, the psychic, the producer of that mission, not the artist himself, the creator himself. Okay, healthy soil, soil health. Soil is the engine of growth for food. This makes an excellent point about the importance of soil. Building and maintaining healthy, productive soil is one that the highest priorities for all farmers, ranchers, and growers. The protection of precious topsoil is critical for sustainability. To naturally build 1 inch of topsoil takes hundreds of years, but it can be washed away by a rainstorm in a matter of minutes. Soil conservation. I thought that was interesting. Soil conservation. Many farmers use practices including no-till and cover cropping to prevent erosion and nutrient runoff, conserve water, and protect the health of their soil over the long run. No-till is a way of growing crops without disturbing the topsoil through tillage. This provides a protective layer of mulch that prevents water evaporation. Provides a protective layer of mulch that prevents water evaporation. The protective cover of mulch reduces weed and insect pressure, often reducing input costs on tools such as herbicides. These protected moisture-rich soils build nutrients year over year, creating strong yields and sustainable food systems. We couldn't live without food, None of us, no human being on earth can live without having food, whether he eats a lot of it or a little bit, or eats just enough to survive. Everybody needs food. Stewardship of natural resources. Stewardship and sustainability. Agriculture is the oldest occupation in the world, and farmers are the first conservationists. Farmers work in a uniquely close way to natural resources. The success of their businesses are directly dependent on the health of the soil, water, and air on the farm. It is important to remember that the journey of food to our plate begins with a farmer placing a seed in the soil, watering that seed, and tending to it. Every bite of food we take is created by farmers who protect and health our health and harness the power of natural resources. Best management practices. American farmers and ranchers are constantly looking for ways to improve their production techniques and increase the conservation of natural resources. They work together and with scientists and with the government to continuously ways to improve their operations. So yeah. Crop protection, pests and disease. Doing business without a roof over your head is challenging and risky. Farmers, ranchers, and growers are constantly feeding the pressures of different threats to their crop production, often in the form of pests and diseases. To overcome these issues, farmers use a variety of science-based solutions, including herbicides, seed technology, vaccinations, and animal nutrition. Farmers and ranchers in the United States. I think we covered this, but let's cover it. We covered the livestock part. This is the first one I show you. The livestock. America is the largest producer of beef. Farmers or cows, cow use or beef. Farmers and ranchers of the United States. American farmers, ranchers, and growers. Today there are nearly 3.4 million farmers, ranchers, and growers in the United States, meaning less than 2% of the total population is responsible for feeding the other 98%. The U.S. agriculture economy contributes more than $1 trillion to the U.S. gross domestic product, which would make it the 16th largest economy in the world if treated as its own country. The United States enjoys one of the most safe, affordable, and plentiful food systems in the world due to the hard work of the farmers, ranchers, and growers who dedicate their lives to agriculture. Livestock. The United States is the world's largest producer of the beef, dairy, and poultry, and the world's second largest pork producer. Animal health and well-being is the cornerstone of livestock management in the United States. American ranchers design their operations to carefully produce safe, nutritious, and affordable products in ways that respect animals and environment. Row crops. Row crops include corn, and on the mission I showed you, or mentioned a lot of cornfields, probably thousands and thousands of acres of corn being used in like, not tricks. What's my Captain Crunch cereals and stuff like that. Thousands and thousands of acres in like probably 10 different states, crossing 10 different states of the West Coast, middle and western states. Row crops and deserts, and oh God, the federal government has so much land. It owns like over half of Nevada, 70% of Nevada, and like at least 30% of California land is federal. Okay, anyways, that's not the case for the East Coast, but it is the case for the WEST West Coast. Row crops include corn, soybeans, and wheat serve as the foundation for creating the staple foods that American people and animals, pets, and livestock consume daily. A typical breakfast, there's so much land and so many like beautiful places where people in the United States can go visit, like the mountains and like Yellowstone and stuff. Just don't get eaten by any wild animals. That's very rare that you could, attacked by a mountain lion or like a big bear or whatever, but it's rare. Most of the bear attacks have happened in Alaska on American soil, but that's even in that's rare. It's like once a year or something. A typical breakfast that includes cereal, toast, bacon, and eggs is made possible in large part by the farmers who produce the U.S. row crops. The row crops make up almost 240 million acres of the 325 million acres of planted crops each year. 325 million. I said thousands, but I may have shown thousands, but that just gives you an idea of how it actually is. Alfalfa. Okay, so yesterday I already showed you these tomatoes, so I guess I don't have to show you that again. Did we cover this? These are the ones we didn't cover. We covered those ones, now we've covered these ones. So we just need to cover. Pollinator garden, here it is, milkweed. You see the milkweed sign again, because of the season, other than these tomatoes and tomillas and tomatoes. That's not how you pronounce it. Hurry up, because you don't have that long. It's tomatillos and tomatoes. I don't know the difference. Okay, we talked about the solar energy. Let's get back over here. So, and then we talked about the cotton. Showed you the cotton that's over there. Clip 1 and 2. Okay, pollinator garden, pollinators. Okay. There are 2 beehives Again, this is DC. I'm coming to you from DC, okay? That's DC twice, like my website, dcw.com. All right. There are 2 beehives directly above this garden on the roof of the USDA Witten building. This is the, remember we said it was the James L. Witten building, and there's the other branch of it. See, on the first video, the reason why I showed you, because yesterday I just showed you this corner of it, and that corner of the energy building, but today I actually showed you the buildings. Okay, so, there are 2 beehives directly above this garden on the roof of the USDA Witten building that provide a home for the bees you see happily pollinating the garden. Pollinators, including honeybees and monarch butterflies, play a critical role in the agriculture and food creation. 1 out of 3 bites of food you take in is the result of pollination. More than 1,200 crops, including fruits, vegetables, seeds, and nuts, require pollination. Pollinators are responsible for many of our most loved foods, including coffee, chocolate, and strawberries. So it says there are 2 beehives directly above this garden. I guess that would be up there. And again, check out earlier in this channel, I actually walk up to some beehives in Research Triangle Park in Durham County, North Carolina, or Research Triangle Park, North Carolina, where there's, you know, all of those corporate buildings, and there's the computer companies and the pharmaceutical companies and all of that that's there. And at the headquarters there, they have like 6 honeybee pollinators, and I actually walk up to it, all 1,000 bees flying up there. But anyways, this one's talking about there are 2 on the same channel. I have 10 channels, YouTube channels, but this is it's on this channel, just the earlier videos. There are 2 beehives directly above this garden on the roof of the USDA Witten building that provide a home for the bees you see happily pollinating this garden. I don't see any right now, but maybe later. Pollinators, including honeybees and monarch bees, play a critical role in agriculture and food creation. 1 out of 3 bites of food you take is the result of pollination. Did you know that? 1 out of 3 bites of food you take is the result of pollination. Did you know that? 1 out of 3 bites of food you take is the result of pollination. More than 12,000 crops, including fruits, vegetables, seeds, and nuts, require pollination. Milkweed agencies. Okay, so let's move on to the next thing. Milkweed is a common plants that grow wild year-round all across the United States. It can be found everywhere, from background gardens and open fields to alongside major highways and beside fences. During the flowering season, they grow beautiful red, blue, and purple flowers in almost perfect spheres. Milkweed is a major pollinator plant for butterflies, and the pollinators. Milkweed is the primary plant that monarch butterflies use for a food source, breeding habitat. Oh my goodness, I'm trying to find a new person. Not new person, new boyfriend. But on that note, I don't know why I keep talking about parties. It's going to be the last time I say his name soon, because I'm moving on. Because it's somebody the right name. Agencies. Anyways, but yes, Cardi's used to always say, hey, I want you to read, I want you to sing the Bible to me, I want you to sing the Psalms to me. Sing the book of Psalms, read the Bible to me, or whatever. Like, oh my God. Sure, but you know what? It's some things that I want you to do for me too. Like this house that I'm talking about and stuff like that. But anyways, obviously, he didn't work with me. I had my ideas of how he could work with me to actually get that done, but oh, God is bigger than us all here. I guess he has a bigger plan. Growing in the garden, wheat ranks 3rd among U.S. field crops in planted acreage, production, and gross farms receipts. Behind corn and soybeans, over 800 billion bushels of wheat are grown in 40 states each year. Just 1 bushel of wheat can produce over 42 loaves of bread. One of the world's most important food crops, wheat provides an estimated 20% of calories consumed by people around the world. It provides fuel that the body needs in the form of complex carbohydrates in bread and in other grain-based foods. One of the most versatile plants in the world, wheat is grown in 42 of the U.S. states and on the 6 continents. So it talks about the importance of wheat and bread and stuff like that in the diet. Over 800 billion bushels of wheat are grown in 40 states each year. Just 1 bushel of wheat can produce over 42 loaves of bread. 1 bushel of wheat goes a long way in creating food. For example, 45 boxes of breakfast cereal. And I did sing the psalm sometimes, a few times. I remember one time in particular, and Sumter, South Carolina. Or 42 loaves of bread can be made from 1 single bushel of wheat. Agencies. Waterfowl habitat. Farmers often work to create habitats on their land for wildlife, including waterfowl such as ducks and geese. As natural wetlands regions, we have greatly diminished throughout the United States. Rice fields, like the one you see here, have become a critical habitat for migrating waterfowl. Rice fields are typically flooded in the winter months after harvest to support weed control and to prevent erosion. Waterfowl flock to rice fields because they offer wetland habitat rich with a variety of nutritious foods. The wooden duck box you see attached to this pole is another example of how farmers work to provide a safe and comfortable environment for wildlife to thrive. I am so rare. I'd say I'm the most rarest. I would say the top 1% is like the richest people of the world, but you can like make $700,000 and be in the top 1%. So I would say I'm like the top 0.4% because I want to earn, or what I want to be, because I want to be like making like $100 million a year. What would that make me? Like the top 0.4%? I want to be above the top 1%. Close to wearing the size 0 agencies, and even though I don't do drag, I have went in H&M and tried and gotten into a 0 in a Mexican dress once, Crabtree Mall, because I knew I could fit it, because I thought it was right. You can check out my weigh-in videos on my YouTube channels. I probably got 6 or 8 of them covering the past 6 years. I'm a little bit heavy. This is the heaviest I've ever been in my life, but I'm probably gonna get back on the diet soon. Rice is the oldest known cultivated food in the world, tracing back to 5000 BC. Rice is a dietary supplement of more than half of the world's population and is grown on every continent except Antarctica. In the United States, rice is commercially produced primarily in the states of Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, and California, creating 38,000 jobs. Cotton. All right, I think that's. Oh, we did cover sunflowers yesterday. These are the last two. Sunflowers. Sunflowers are truly American. Of all the crops harvested for seed around the world, sunflowers are the only one that was originally domesticated in the United States. It's November here. Today is November the 18th. Of all of the crops harvested for seed around the world, sunflowers are the only one that was originally domesticated in the United States. In addition to being cultivated for their delicious seeds and oil, sunflowers are a powerful crop for the conservation. Sunflowers absorb heavy metals and toxins from the ground and are often used by farmers to help build soils. But I feel like there's somebody that's saying, I'm jealous of him. Like, I want to be by the richest house in town. We'll do it. You buy the biggest house in town. You buy it. I want you to. I'm endorsing you to. I'm asking you to. Begging you to even. And once you do that, if I have mine by then, if you can get yours today, and I don't get mine until 12 o'clock tomorrow, if you find me before then, and you can say, hey, come kick it with me for a night or two, come check out the property, because you're the one that told me, you brought it to my attention, you brought the types of property to my attention, you brought the particular property to my attention, or whatever, I'd appreciate the endorsement. All right. So growing in the gardens, we covered sunflowers, but if I do have my home by then, I'm not going to say that I'm going to say yes to that, because I may be busy with something else or with the company. I might, but I will definitely still say, hey, what you just said, say it on my website. I could use the endorsement. Anyways, growing in the garden, soybeans represent 90% of oilseed production in the United States, covering more than 90 million acres. Also, I saw a lot of soy fields. It's used, soy is used for oil, tofu, stuff like that. Covered more than 90 million acres per year. Much like corn, soybeans are grown by farmers in most states, but who do you endorse? Devon Chadwick White Incorporated. That's at www.dcwdcw.com. That's my initials twice.com. www.dcwdcw.com. It's the home of my company. It's my name, Devon That's me. Say it 5 times. Say it to the whole world. Get the whole world to say it. Devon, 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 Devon. Chadwick, white, like the color of snow, as if the snow was falling from the heavens to the white lanes on the streets, and the ground was covered in snow. Snow, the air is covered in white, and the ground is too. How about that? Anyways, the whole point of this is other common oilseed crops are sunflower and peanuts, and soybeans are, so this is the home of my company. That's my name incorporated, Devon Chadwick White Incorporated. Are an important crop for human nutrition, animal feed, and many other products that might surprise you. Like crayons, 1 acre of soybean can produce more than 82,000 crayons. All right. So this guy's over there. He's taking pictures of the videos. I saw a lady in the museum yesterday taking video of the exhibits. We already did this cotton yesterday. What is cotton used for? See clip 1 and clip 2 to talk about the very important one, that's something that we've discussed a couple times in this video. Okay, so we'll end this video, get it up on the channel, and we're on the National Mall. I think we've covered every building on the National Mall. Showed you 11 museums in DC. Now the Department of Agriculture, 2 buildings, even the Department of Energy. Next, shows you the exterior of the J. Edgar Hoover FBI building. There's the Washington Monument. Down there is the Capitol building. I'm guessing, what, 170,000 square feet? Anyways, it's a large Capitol building, but it's not the largest in the United States. That would be, Texas's Capitol building in Austin, Texas, at over 300,000 square feet. But DC, right over the waterway, does have the Pentagon, which at 6.6 million square feet is the largest office building. Okay, so this is the Department of Agriculture. We're here on the National Mall. We've been to that museum, 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 we've been to that museum. All of them are on my channel, okay? But you at least 1 exhibit in each museum. I'll say at least 2 exhibits in each of those museums. I do encourage you to check out si.edu. That's the Smithsonian Institution. You can contribute there. People do it globally every day, people that have never been to DC. But they contribute, and so here we are with the front side of the Department of Agriculture. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope you have a wonderful day out to get working back out. I can't wait for the winter because, again, like I said, I've been pretty much sleeping out in the streets, camping out in DC for a month, just for the experience of DC. And so here I am. It seemed like a hard time to do it, like in the winter where it would be freezing temperatures for like a couple days, even though it's not going to be freezing technically in DC till December. We have had a couple freezing days, but with the right materials, oh, I'm warm. I got the heat. I keep it hot. I mix it hot, and this is the Department of Agriculture, and so I'm winning. You can't survive. You're gonna lose that battle. No, I'm winning. I'm winning now, and I'm gonna win. So, are these Christmas trees? All right. So, yep, there it is. All right,